Hi, everyone. I'm Sarita Gupta. I'm the director of Jobs with Justice. It's great to be here with all of you in this conversation. To answer your question, just to say, Jobs with Justice has been around 27 plus years. We have different creation theories, and many people in this room have been a part of those stories. But we're one of the oldest labor community networks in the country. And we bring together labor, community, faith, and student organizations at the local and national level to protect and expand the rights of workers and achieve broader economic and social justice. So the idea of labor community alliance building is in our DNA, and it's frankly, all of our work is looked through that frame and approach. So given that, what we do is we run campaigns locally and nationally that weave together the interests of labor and community. And in recent years, much of that work, especially in relationship to bargaining rights, has been not only how do we protect existing bargaining rights, but actually how are we expanding and finding new pathways forward for bargaining. I know there's been a lot of discussion this morning about that, so I'm gonna make a bunch of assumptions that everyone knows what I'm talking about. But just to say that so much of our work has been looking at how do we leverage the long-term relationships that have been built on the ground and at the national level between union and non-union organizations, broader community-based organizations, to think about the pathways forward. We all know corporations and the concentration of power is stripping away power for workers and community members now. And so the question is, together can we figure out how to move forward and expand our notion of bargaining beyond collective bargaining agreements? So we lead on campaigns like Caring Across Generations, which is all about transforming the long-term care system, or Change Walmart, Change the Economy. It's our campaign that complements and works closely with the Making Change at Walmart campaign and our Walmart. Or our Debt-Free Future campaign. These are all campaigns that are geared towards not only exploring how do we create better jobs or new good quality jobs in growing sectors like the care sector or the retail sector, but they're actually looking at how we explore new pathways for bargaining for sets of workers. A great example of this is at the end of last year, we won some precedent-setting legislation out in San Francisco. We won the Retail Workers' Bill of Rights. And this campaign was actually born out of, thank you. We should celebrate victory, so thank you for that clap. But it actually was born out of this understanding because of the changing nature of work and the growth of contingent work, the growth of part-time, temporary, subcontracted workers. We need to find new ways to address key issues that are impacting those workers, in addition to wages being erratic scheduling, rights of part-time workers, a broad range of issues which we were able to win through this piece of legislation. But for us, this wasn't just about a policy win. It actually was about how do different sets of workers who are in motion in a given municipality, in this case, come together and move forward a policy or a demand that actually results in shifting power away from employers and back to workers. And then in that context, how do we think about new pathways for bargaining as those workers are organizing in their workplaces? So that's much of the work that our organization is focused on. And the last thing I'll say before sort of handing it off, knowing we're going to get into more juicy discussion on this, is that I think so much of our work is actually going from, I think historically, 27 years ago when Jobs of Justice was started, the notion was that we had to convince unions to work with community, that we had to actually help people see that we couldn't win alone anymore. And the notion was, how could we get community to support workplace fights? However, 27 years later, much of our work now is actually about how do we situate workplace fights in broader community struggles in some of the biggest social issues of our time. So Caring Across Generations, as an example, is a campaign that could easily have been designed to be about how do we win rights for home care workers in itself. We need bargaining rights for home care workers, given all the demographic shifts. But the campaign is actually rooted in a much bigger frame about how do we, in fact, transform a long-term care system that not only meets the needs of workers, as home care workers and direct care workers, but how does it also meet the needs of workers as consumers and as people in society who are grappling with these issues of care. That's just one glimpse of many examples I could give. I could talk about student debt and many others, but the point is that our work is actually trying to find the new pathways forward that allow us to build power, lasting power for workers and community. Leave it at that.